Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan show. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the founder of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, which has been around now for over 30 years. And I decided to try to fulfill a mission and share it with our membership. And our mission is to surround ourselves with motivated people that are all interested in helping each other achieve both our personal and professional goals and live a balanced life so that we can enjoy life in a way that we can enjoy not only the present, but hopefully the future. My purpose and goal in doing this show is to interview successful entrepreneurs who are willing to share with us their ideas and their experiences, both the good ones and the bad ones. Because as it has been jokingly said, you should learn from the mistakes of others because you'll never live long enough to make them all yourself. I am really excited about having our new president of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, Daniel Zykaj. Sounds like Liza with a Z, Daniel Zykaj. And you are definitely a zestful person.
Oh, I try to be.
It's been a delight to work with you, and I really don't call it work because we had a lot of fun. And the truth of it is that if you are surrounding yourself with people like yourself, who are in that younger generation, I guess it's called millennial. What's the new?
The millennial generation.
You're a millennial, will you?
I am a millennial.
And maybe millennials are all going to be millionaires, but I can't promise that. But the truth of it is that you really impressed me right from the first day that we met, and you haven't hit the magic 3-0 even yet. Is that correct?
Not yet. Not yet.
But it's coming, man. It's coming.
Soon.
I've been there and done that.
And you bought the T-shirt.
And I bought a T-shirt. Right. And I thought we'd share some of your background and also some of your thoughts. And I really am impressed with your background. At 19, you were the owner of a restaurant. Is that right, Daniel?
That is correct. That is correct.
Tell us about that.
Well, that was definitely a learning experience, if nothing else. You know, I grew up in the restaurant business. Had my first job when I was 11 years old. So I may be a millennial, but people tell me I'm an old soul. So I'm very old-fashioned in my work ethic, which is a good thing. And worked in restaurants from the time I was 11 through elementary, junior high, high school, graduated high school, and decided that the restaurant business was where I belonged. So went out and actually bought a restaurant about 6 months after I graduated high school.
Now that's the proverbial entrepreneurial approach. Hey, I really like this. I think I can do it. Now, had you had any experience in working in restaurants at all before, or how did it go about?
That's part of the long story. So I'll give you the short version. We started when I was 11 as a busboy, and then I got a promotion, if you will, to dishwasher.
Wow.
Head dishwasher at that.
You were cleaning up.
I was cleaning up. And a raise came with that. And then eventually during those years, started cooking, became a cook, and became the manager of the restaurant. And eventually I was running the whole place by myself at 16 years old. I was the general manager at that point. And graduating high school, I said, I really don't like working for the guy I was working for at the time. I said, I can do what he does and be the owner and have people work for me.
Hey!
What an idea.
What an idea. And it is always great if you're in a position that you, quote unquote, are the boss. If you know how to boss people in a way that's not going to turn them away. And I cannot stress something that's vital. And you've been to quite a few of the networking meetings. That's why you think I just decided to have Daniel Zykaj, president of the Entrepreneurs Network, because I thought he was some sort of flake. I wanted some guy who actually practiced what everyone that's successful in entrepreneurism is required. You didn't say, hey, I like restaurants, I like to eat, and I have people come to these meetings over 30 years. I've met a lot of them. And of all the places people want to get started in their business career is restaurants. Food's never going to go away. People are always hungry. But you were the dishwasher. You were also involved as a busboy. So it's not like you walk in and all of a sudden, hey, I want to be the boss, so something I don't know anything about.
No, I had to learn the business literally from the ground up. So when I did turn 19 years old, I decided that, you know, it's time for me to be the owner now, because I've done everything else that there is to do in that business. And I think that's a key component of entrepreneurship. You really should take the time to learn the industry and the business specifically that you're going into from the ground up, so that when those challenges arise, and they will, you now have the experience, the expertise to overcome the challenges and really be a good owner of a business.
Right. Well, the number one walk-away message, so to speak, that I'd like people to appreciate is the fact that if you're going to go into a business venture, you should be able to take any position of that business on should you lose the person that was doing that is not doing it right. Am I right? Or
That's absolutely true. You should definitely be able to step in and run any any position within that organization.
Right. And I cannot stress that strongly enough, because I have people that, and I'm sure you've met them, that come and say, well, I'm just going to hire this person to do that person to do this. And you know what, now that I think about it, why some people think in that direction? Because think about it. How many times when someone comes to you and wants to start a business, the first thing you're told, well, first of all, you got to get an accountant, then you got to get an attorney, then you have to get a bank source. So all of a sudden you're brainwashed that, hey, all I got to do is pick people. But these are people that help you get started and can help you along the way once you're already there.
Well, those people are supplemental positions in your organization.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like having the latest, greatest phone or tablet or something of that nature, an electronic. You've got to be the battery that drives that device or that organization.
And you better be able to find a new battery when that one goes dead, right?
That's right. That is absolutely correct.
Well, I'm a pharmacist, and I was successful in the pharmaceutical world because I was fortunate enough that my cousin, who I think the world of, were more like brothers, was able to do stuff that I can't. Now, bear in mind, when you go into a professional career like I did, pharmacy, in the days when I graduated, you still were able to be your own boss. So I had a huge advantage over, let's say, someone like you who went in the restaurant business. And all due respect, if you're a decent human being, you can learn how to wash dishes and you can learn how to be a busboy. Right. But you can't fill prescriptions.
No. You need
and you can't be a doctor, and I can't be a doctor either at this point.
I have actually something that's kind of a joke, but you can be a street pharmacist, but that's not a real career choice.
That's called the drug man. In fact, this is a trivia fact. If you and this sort of ties in with entrepreneurism, is to know the wording and the nomenclature, and how many times we talk about at the network meetings the importance of knowing the audience and knowing how to customize your message if we're talking networking.
Sure.
If you tell a pharmacist he's a druggist, it turns him off. And it's a very subtle thing. Oh, you're a druggist. Well, you know, and podiatrists used to actually have a different title. I think it was chiropodist, if I remember. So you can come to a modern podiatrist and call him a chiropodist. Okay?
Right, right.
Likewise, in business, you have to not only be able to do the stuff, you have to be able to talk the stuff.
You've got to get the lingo and the jargon down and really know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because that's really how we do business. I mean, you and I have been networking. I haven't been networking nearly as long as you have,
Right.
but we know when we meet somebody new, you must be able to really explain to them in a matter of about a 30-second elevator pitch exactly what you do, and then, you know, move on from there and go to the next person and do it again.
Right, right.
So if you don't have a clear, concise message, chances of you making a real connection at a networking event are pretty slim to none.
Right. Well, you know, we just had a meeting the other day, and actually I had the opportunity, and I do that at all of our meetings, and obviously our meetings are on the web. We have Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, or enom.com, if it's up and running and all. But the truth of it is that in all of these meetings, I try to assist people in how they even present themselves. And there are really about 5 basic steps if you want to be successful at these networking events that I try to bring out. Number 1, just like you brought out Daniel Zykaj, is that have your presentation down either to 60 seconds or 30 seconds in a clear, concise message. Number 2 is what you have to have is a USP, unique selling proposition. What makes you different than just your competitor somewhere else? And number 3 is that you should assure people that if they do business with you, you have the equivalent of a guarantee. And you know, it's interesting, we talk about nomenclature. One of the best words that I have picked up is how many times we guarantee satisfaction. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Guarantee complete satisfaction. That word complete somehow has a special ring to it. And then the other part of it is that you should have a form of getting people motivated. It's called CTA, call to action, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And actually, I practice what I preach. And now, Mr. Daniel Zykaj, since you're the president of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, and as you did in the other meeting, and you're asked to give your, I'm going to be nice to you. You don't have to limit it to just 60 seconds. Daniel Zykaj, president of Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan. Tell us about the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan.
Well, I thank you for you know, that nice. You should be an announcer. It fits you. It suits you.
All right, I'll think about it.
What I like about the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan is that we have heritage. I mean, you know, it's been around 35 years now, and it's been a great source for entrepreneurs to go to. Whether they're new entrepreneurs that really have just an idea, they don't have a real business yet, and we can groom them and work with them and take them to that fruition stage of where they have a real business. Or we can take somebody that's experienced, maybe struggling or plateaued in their business, and then we can walk them through that plateau because we have so many hands on deck. We have a lot of experience, and we have a lot of people that are from all kinds of different backgrounds and categories in the business world that can help those entrepreneurs get themselves to the next stage. So that's part of the reason that we're unique. We have a few different, our UVP, our unique value proposition, which is the selling proposition, of course, is that we've put together some partnerships with some very powerful groups around the area. Southeast Michigan is our main focus right now. However, we do plan on going national eventually. Better sooner than later, right?
Right, absolutely.
And we have resources within the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan for every background, and not just entrepreneurs, but some professionals as well, like real estate professionals. They, you know, they're sort of running their own business within that brokerage. If they work with a broker, or if they are the broker, then they're really running a pretty big business if they have multiple agents within their brokerage. So we have resources for them. Our goal is to help them grow and expand their business. We work with another group of entrepreneurs. They have about 5,000 member businesses within their organization, and they're able to use their buying power with these 5,000 member businesses that they have, and we get the same benefits, and we're able to offer those discounts to all 5,000 of those member businesses to our member businesses, and we save the businesses money on printing, all different aspects, marketing material, things of that nature. We work with SCORE, who I know you've had on the show before.
Oh yeah, they're a wonderful organization. The original name was Senior Corps Retired Executives, and they've decided to try to modernize it, and they call themselves now advisors to small and startup and building businesses. But despite whatever title they give themselves, this is a non-profit organization. Mm-hmm. That it's a shame that is not utilized even more, and we've developed a really good relationship because this is free. This is part of the Small Business Administration. And our government in the United States of America really, if we stuck to what the intent was, and I still promote the wonderful aspects of our country. I truly believe this is the greatest country that we can live in, right?
Without a doubt.
And this is free stuff. They have templates that you can fill in the blanks if you want to start a business. They also have marketing templates. And another little unknown secret is the fact that if you need financing, they will tell you, hey, this is what someone who is going to offer investing in your company or a bank mm-hmm. wants to see you do.
Right.
And don't mind mentioning names. Tom Raymond, who is a full-time volunteer and is a good friend and just on an ongoing basis and comes to as many meetings as he can, devotes 5 days a week, no charge, and we work quite closely with SCORE because there are a lot of people, like they say, the next worst thing to not knowing is not knowing that you don't know,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And I'm so glad that you decided to take me up on being president of the Entrepreneurs Network because you are really tech savvy, and I get a kick out of every time I talk to you, and I said, we should send out a notice to let people know about our next meeting. We may have to change locations. Okay, no problem. All right. And about 2 minutes later, well, we just sent it out to 5,000 people. You did? This is a great country or what? And just with the buttons and all.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of a great country, I really believe that coming from, I wasn't born and raised in the United States, as you already know. Mm-hmm. Coming from a very poor country to the United States, I really do appreciate the opportunity that's here. And sometimes more so than people that are born or raised here. So
that's the sad part. We many times forget. If you're fortunate enough to have been born here, you obviously have enjoyed the fruits of the country. But I went through concentration camp, mm-hmm. and I bring that out not for sympathy, because quite frankly, that's one of the reasons I don't like to particularly talk about it too much, because people suddenly start feeling sorry for you. I'm not looking for sorry. I'm mm-hmm. looking for the fact that I know what other possibilities are.
Right.
And you truly have the opportunity, if you train yourself, and like you, Daniel Zykaj, you started at 19 after you did the dishes and cleaned up the place and knew
all the dirty jobs that nobody really wants to do.
I was just thinking, Daniel, you always hear that line, are you the chief? Oh yeah, I'm the chief bottle washer. You were
chief cook and bottle washer. That's what I always said.
You were.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we are always, that's one of the nice things, and I enjoy having our meetings, because really I have a lot of fun hearing people's stories and what's going on. And that is one of the things that you have that gift for. You're a young guy, so the whole technology world is not something unique, something new. To me,
Right.
I'm used to like the old way.
I even like how you said it. You made it sound old.
And it is that way.
Well, technology is rapidly expanding. I mean, you go back to thousands of years ago, right? People caught fish one at a time, and then the net was invented. That changed the world at that time, because now it would take, 2 people to do the work of 20 people.
Right.
So it changed the economy.
Right.
A net, something that simple. Imagine there's 100 people that live on an island,
Right.
and 20 of them are fishermen. They fish and feed the island.
Right.
Now, you have technology expanding so rapidly today, and that's part of the reason that entrepreneurship is on the rise. People can't find jobs like they used to. That's why I think we bring such value. But back to the story, imagine there's an island, 100 people, 20 of them are fishermen to feed everybody on the island, and then the net's invented. Now it doesn't take 20 people anymore to catch the same amount of fish. It only takes 2.
Right.
So you've got, 18 people that are out of a job, and they've got to go find something else to do.
Right. Are you ready for this, Daniel Zykaj? Just popped in my head. And that's one of the joys I have, is that I have that if there is a talent that I like to pride myself, when it comes to technology, as you all know, we've shared it many times, that ain't my world yet.
No, not at
I
all.
do it
But
because
I have to give you credit. You do know how to bring people on board to work with.
Yeah, right. That
So
do have
that's a talent in its own.
Oh yeah, right. But I want to get back to this fisherman story because it's an anecdote that I try to bring out as much as possible. And that is, how many times have you heard that if you give a man a fish and he has food for one
day,
meal, right? Or one meal. But
you
teach a man how to fish and he can eat forever. Wait a minute, there's something wrong with that. That's what I like to call sometimes an Ikeism. And that is that individual that you just taught how to fish still may not be able to eat forever. You know why? Because he didn't get instructed what type of a fishing pole he should get, where the fish are, and how to catch them, right?
And I like that because that ties beautifully in with the Entrepreneurs Network.
And
we give you the pole, we give you the line, we give you the place, the secret location where all the fish are.
And we're not calling other people fish, but do you realize we're talking networking?
Networking, exactly. I like that. I like that a lot.
I do too.
That's a good one. Networking.
Networking.
Build your net. Absolutely.
Build your net. And that is really the essence of being successful. And I want to actually address some of the things that come up to our meetings. And I share that because I get such great satisfaction out of taking something that people have said or thought about, but I've never appreciated the total significance. And why are some people successful and others aren't? The people that are not as successful as the successful ones have not gone that step like you did with your restaurant experience. They did the sweeping of the floor. They did and they assumed that, hey, this other person looks like he's not as smart as I am. I can do that. You have to, like the great philosopher Yogi Berra once said, that the trouble with getting anything done is that there's always something you have to do before that.
Right.
Okay? And that's what we try to do at our meetings, is that we try to give you some of the stuff. Wait a minute, did you do this? Oh, I never thought of that. And we were just talking before we got on the air. We had a young man, very charming individual. He's sort of successful, and I try to find out a little bit about what the reason that they showed up and what they do. And he very proudly just jumped right on that we teach leadership. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Now, which profession or who would you like to meet tonight that might be of interest? He says, everybody. It ain't everybody, right?
No, you've got to know your audience. Definitely, that's a skill set in its own, really, to target your market, your audience, and be able to tailor your message specifically to that audience. If you don't do that,
You lose them.
What I call that is the shotgun approach.
Right.
It's much more efficient with a sniper rifle.
Yes.
Rather than a shotgun blast and hope you catch something.
Right.
So that's kind of the difference there, and you know, that's what we do with the Entrepreneurs Network is we educate folks, we teach them the proper way to do it. You know, and unfortunately, if you're going into business for yourself, a big part of that is sales. You've got to, you know, and there's so many entrepreneurs out there, and what's their favorite thing to say to you is, "I'm not a sales guy."
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you buy or sell a business, well, how do they evaluate that business? On sales.
Right.
If you have no sales, you have no business. So at the end of the day, sales is a big part of what we do, is teaching people how to become more like a salesperson. You know, and the best salesperson in that organization, any business that you're in, should be the owner.
Right. Well, you know, there's a line that's been used many times about the fact that nothing happens until a sale is made.
Until a sale is made, absolutely.
Right. So if you don't even make that sale, nothing is going to get made. And, you know, I don't try to browbeat the people, but when I hear what you just said, oh, I'm not a salesman, the truth is, everybody is a salesman.
Very true.
You didn't get married until you sold yourself.
You had to sell your significant other on yourself.
Right,
sure.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'll never forget, and this may be way out in left field, but that's the joy I have. I take things out from left field and I try to bring them to center field. And I'll never forget, and this is before your time, one of the most popular TV programs was Bishop Sheen. Here I'm being a Jewish guy and and that was one of my favorite programs. Now, how many Jewish guys would regard a Catholic priest on a weekly basis on Monday nights? He would deliver just completely off the cuff and take messages from the Bible and apply it to the current situation. And he was just a terrific type of presenter. And he won the Emmy Awards like about 3 years in a row.
Okay.
Get this,
wow.
a priest winning an Emmy Award. And he was once asked about the third time from the presenter, said, Bishop Sheen, how is it that you are so successful in your program? He says, well, I got a good writer.
So here you are thinking it's off the cuff, and he's got a great writer.
But he's able to exert it and express it in such a way that he connected with people. And that's the key of entrepreneurship, and we've talked about it in various ways. People want to know that you're connecting with them and what they need.
Well, and I'll bring up an Ikeism here, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's an Ikeism, absolutely.
W-I-I-F.
M is for what's in it for me, and the one that I like is T.
Right.
Substitute the F for the T.
Right.
And that stands for what's in it for them.
What's in it for them.
Right.
Absolutely. If you're looking to do business with anybody, it doesn't matter what your business is, you've got to be able to highlight why they should do business with you.
Right.
They should be able to see that, okay, well, you know, especially in the restaurant business, right? Because that's the business that I understand intimately, inside and out, and I lived that life for many, many years.
Right.
And I can tell you, there's a restaurant on every corner on the planet, really, you know?
Right.
So why was it that I was successful in my restaurant business? And there's a lot of restaurants, actually over 90% of restaurants that open their doors today fail within their first year. So with a failure rate like that, what made me so unique, I think, is that I connected with people. I'd go out there and shake hands with my customers. How often do you go into a restaurant and the owner comes out and says hello to you?
Right.
And says, hey, welcome back, and actually remembers your name, or you know, it offers you a free dessert. Just something small. That small makes all the difference.
It's that unique selling proposition.
That adds to the uniqueness.
And the personality. And that is where, you know, it may sound like a dinosaur and what have you, that I see a downside with all these apps and technology. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that to be successful, you should be always looking for a way that and enjoying life, since we try to promote living a balanced life. is that you should figure out a way that you are being followed versus being chased. Okay?
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, if you think you're leading and nobody's following, you're just going for a walk.
Right, a lonely walk.
A lonely walk.
Right, but I mean, the truth of it is, technology can really sort of skyrocket a lot of things for you, but it's a tool. You don't adapt to a tool and stop all communication. Heck, I'll just send them an email, thanks for coming by my restaurant. Nothing beats like feeling their flesh.
Right.
And like you come out, and first of all, it makes your customer feel more comfortable too.
Sure.
And more important.
Sure. So, well, like I said, technology is changing so rapidly today, you know, and it's changing at a faster pace. You know, 20, 30 years ago, it took about 5 or 10 years to get a new technology out. Now there's a new gadget, social media network every other day.
Right.
And that's changing and revolutionizing things.
Right.
So,
well, it's unbelievable how fast time goes and how technology goes. And I unfortunately have run out of time out of this segment, and I can't leave without my favorite quote, which is, if you really want to get anything done, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals in America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.